This is GrantTalk, hosted by Libby Hikind, founder and CEO of GrantWatch and author of The Queen of Grants.
Hi, everybody. I'm Libby Hikind. I'm the founder and CEO of GrantWatch.com. I'm your host today on GrantTalk, and I'm also the author of The Queen of Grants, From Teacher to Grant Writer to CEO. Sitting with me today is Sharon McGraw, and she is from the Community Fund Ohio, and she is the Grant Program Officer. And today we're going to hear about a community foundation and what it does and where it gets its funding from and who benefits. So thank you, Sharon, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
So I know you have a grant that's due, so I want to get that out there right now. What's the deadline?
We accept applications quarterly. So we're accepting applications now for first quarter 2025. The deadline is always the last day of the quarter for individuals. We also make grants to nonprofit organizations, and we review those twice a year. Deadline is the end of June and the middle of December.
And that one's not out yet. That will be out very shortly, right?
Correct.
Okay. And maybe it's going to be out when we edit the video. So you want to look for that on GrantWatch. So how'd you get involved in this?
I have personally been on the other side of grants, writing grants for most of my adult life. Also, I have a background in education. I worked as a teacher for a while too, and then did some administrative work. And I found this position with Community Fund in the middle of just last year. So I haven't been there too long, about 6 months, 7 months. It's a really interesting organization. The legal name is Community Foundation Management Services of Ohio, but we're known as Community Fund Ohio. And it was created in 1993 as a vehicle to protect benefits for persons with disabilities who might be receiving government income, SSI or some other, so that their eligibility for Medicaid and other services is not hampered. So the organization actually manages pooled trusts for individuals with disabilities. I work on the other side, which is the grant side. In addition to managing the pooled trust, we also generate income, interest income, and we use that income to provide services for people with disabilities and organizations that serve people with disabilities.
So the money's coming in through the DOF or the DOV. Is that what you're running there? Where people put their money in a trust and then they take some percentage of that money and give it out?
Exactly. Yes. The interest that's accrued on that. There's a formula allocation each year that sets aside money in the budget so that they're able to distribute money to people who don't have access to grants, especially individuals. It's really unusual for an organization to make grants to individuals.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We get a lot of phone calls for that. People need vehicles or they need a vehicle retrofitted for them.
Exactly. Yep. And those are the kinds of things we can do. We have recently updated our program and are launching for 2025. We'll be making grants available. We've increased the amount of the grant for individuals so they can apply for up to $7,500, and that will cover whatever the needs are. And they don't have to apply for that all at once. If they need occupational therapy or physical therapy or part of a fence or something paid for,
right?
We can do that, and then they can come back. But there is a lifetime cap on the award right now.
So they apply for this grant, and the money does not interfere with their Social Security funds?
Correct. And one of the ways we do that is we make the payments to a third-party vendor. So the check is issued to the grant recipient. Let's say they need a ramp on their house for a wheelchair. then it's
For a
not
scooter.
exactly. Then, and we do those kinds of projects all the time. So we pay it, it's given to the vendor, and the homeowner then presents it to the vendor once the job is complete, bathroom modification, whatever it is. So it doesn't affect their income eligibility for Medicaid or SSP, whatever the government benefits are.
So the eligibility criteria would be they need to live in Ohio and
Yes,
be disabled.
exactly. Yep. And we don't have, and that's really it. It's there. It's only for Ohio residents. Organizations that serve people in Ohio are eligible to apply, and those amounts are higher. We award up to 25,000 for nonprofits, and they, again, that's capped, but they provide services in turn to people, and it's a really simple process. We have a review committee of the board who goes over the applications. Generally, if they're within the criteria, they're likely to get funded.
I wish that all the states were listening right now. So if you are, this is a great way to provide the income for the needs of the disabled in your state and not interfere with their other entitlements, because we get calls every day.
Yes, we don't do cash grants. We do get a lot of calls from people who are facing foreclosure, or facing the hardship grants. We don't do that, but our only criteria is that the award has to be directly related to the disability. So if they can write a convincing narrative that here's why we need this item or this service with a documentation, then yes, it's unique. We're trying to get the word out in Ohio because some of the big cities have heard of us in Ohio, but we really want to reach out to. We have 88 counties.
In the rural areas,
Rural
right?
areas. There's huge needs that are unmet, and we want to be able to get out there and let people know we have these funds available. Use them.
Right. Let me do a hypothetical. Somebody has modified their house. The kitchen is the level they need from their wheelchair. They have wheelchair ramps, but they can't pay their mortgage right now. Would you send the money for the mortgage to the mortgage company for them so they could stay in that modified house?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
However, we did just bring on board a licensed social worker who will work with those clients so that there are other pathways for foreclosure prevention, and we're steering those applicants to someone who can help them so they're not totally left out. We don't want to leave anybody out that needs help.
Do you find that you're serving a lot of disabled veterans?
Uh, we don't ask that question. That's interesting. I don't know if they're veterans or not.
Okay, something to add to your application in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
That's a
mean,
very good idea.
because the stats would help somebody want to put the money in the pool because they know it's going to go there.
Yep. Yep. We do get, I would say, at least anecdotally, parents tend to find us and will apply for their children. A lot of autism related grants, but they're all over the place, a whole broad range of disabilities.
Right, because I was thinking of older people, and now we're thinking of younger people that need the assistance. So that's really great that because when there's somebody disabled in the home, there's so much that's needed.
There is for all kinds of disabilities, whether it's physical disabilities or another disability. There's absolutely, and there's a lot of really good services out there to assist. And it's great working with organizations as they apply for grants and we learn a little bit more about them. We can ask, maybe this one's not a good fit, but what else
Right.
do you do? And there probably is a piece of it we could help with. And just for our own knowledge, be able to know to share their information when we get calls for who might be offering this type of program, we can do that.
And how long does it take to complete your application?
Very short. That's part of our new and improved revised application process is it's very short. It's about 5 pages total for individuals, and most of that is just checking boxes, just yes, no. Very short. We don't ask for a lot of documentation. We ask for if a child has an IEP from the school, provide just a page, signature page or the front page, Medicaid card for verification. A lot of times if they don't have typical verification, we'll use a doctor's orders, a prescription. The board really wants they want to meet the intended purpose and make it easy.
So they don't want to set up barriers.
Exactly. They want to make it transparent. They want the money to get out into the hands of people who need it. So we're trying to make that simpler through the application process and review process, because we know that they're already stressed. They don't need to fill out one more form. They don't need to make another phone call. There's already a lot on them. So we try and make it as easy, less complicated than typical bureaucracy to get the money where it should be.
And the nonprofit grant, what kind of programs have you funded?
They do all sorts of things. We have funded Playhouse Square in Cleveland for hearing amplification devices for people who are hearing impaired. We funded an organization in Southern Ohio, Southwest Ohio. I can't recall which county they're in. Their employees are disabled, so they needed some new equipment that would help with the processing. So it really, and their real jobs. So that was a good one. We will provide, like you mentioned, vans. We have helped purchase modifications on vehicles for organizations to transport their clients back and forth. We funded a zoo program, Toledo Zoo, to do, they want Zoo for All. And so they are doing there's 3 special programs where they've had ambassadors, and everything is dedicated to disabled persons that want to have full access to a zoo.
Beautiful. You're really providing, lots of mitzvahs. That's how I explain it. Because you're just doing stuff for people that otherwise wouldn't be able to have this access. And
yes, and that's what our board really wants it to be. They want it to be a program that we are typically the funder of last resort, but they want it to be something that they can't get anywhere else, because we fill this very unique little void of giving money, allocating it to individuals and allocating it to organizations that are really doing great work and are strapped. And we know they're strapped.
It sounds like you have a lot of engagement back and forth with your grantees, because you know the impact that you're having.
We do, because we're statewide, and we ask very little from our organizational grantees too, because I know, being on the other side, the paperwork is I've written grants where you have to write a 20-page application for a $2,000 grant, and that's not worth it. And the reporting on the other end, ours are very simple. Receipts, what did you say we're going to do? Show us that you did it. But we do try and go out. My executive director is in the field a lot more than I am, so she's able to actually go and visit the places, meet with people. I do some of that, but it's very rewarding to see exactly. We walked into one place a few weeks right before the holiday break, and they had built this incredible sensory room, and it was massive. It was but the most calming, beautiful room. And I said, wow, we should do our staff meetings here. Mm-hmm. It's they're very creative, and there's lots of good stuff going on out there that people know about.
This makes me feel great, because we list your grants on GrantWatch. So we feel that we have a hand in anyone that you're funding. And I'd like to go visit too. We did it for a while. We did an On the Road with GrantWatch. It's on I think it's under About on the website, under the About page. And I went and saw things that were being done with the money. And you just feel great about going to work every day when you see that.
Yep. Yep. Well, welcome. Please come. We would love to have you. And maybe when the snow melts. But
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm not coming till the snow
got
comes.
it too.
So we didn't get snow. Northern Florida did. So, okay. And I just want to let you know that when one of your grantees gets a grant, if they let us know that they found it on GrantWatch, we send them a mug for free, just because we want to encourage people to seek out funding and fulfill needs within their communities. So, and that's really great. And, I wrote this book. It sounds like we have very similar backgrounds. I was a teacher, and then I was writing grants at the same time as teaching. And then I retired and then became CEO. So you've also retired from teaching?
Didn't retire, just moved into a different position and have sort of kept plodding along places.
Well, you're in a good place right now. I wish you a lot of luck. I just want to tell our viewers and listeners that you need to hit that subscribe button. It's free to get notified when we've uploaded a new video on YouTube, so that you can listen and learn, get ideas for your community, get ideas for grant writing and what's out there. So, and I thank you, Sharon, because this has really been very interesting. How will people find you?
Oh, our website is the easiest way to find us. It's communityfundohio.org. And everything is on there. The links are on there. The application forms will be on there. Everything about the trust side is on there, and who the contacts are for all of that. So it's www.communityfundohio.org.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Grant Talk, powered by GrantWatch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this GrantWatch channel. Please consider subscribing to GrantWatch.com, and you can find the book, The Queen of Grants, by going to GrantWatch.com/book. Thank you again for spending your time with us.